Welcome, all you heroes, villains, and vigilantes. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and this is my review of My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, Chapter 209, titled The Fifth Set Begins. And we come off of just after the end of last chapter, with Class 1A taking down Class 1B 4-0 in less than 5 minutes, no less, which really just tells you how quickly everything took place, because I could truly see that whole thing happening in less than 5 minutes. It was so fast paced and action packed, like even animated, at most 10 minutes of animation right there and then. So, everyone in Class 1A is just happy, excited, just thrilled because they managed to get through probably the easiest out of anyone. And Aizawa specifically, well, the two teachers, Aizawa and Vlad King, talked to their students about their performance and so on. And Aizawa's just like, hey, you captured them with minimal damage to the surrounding area. Bakugo used his mobility and strength, and everyone was able to work around him as the kind of linchpin of their team. Vlad King, however, laments their defeat, saying that while they did a great job showing sound strategy and using previous data in order to move forward with their battle plan, and even taking into account the huge gap between the two powers of the two teams, unfortunately, unlike Honuki, the dude from the previous match, they weren't flexible enough. They didn't, think outside the box. They didn't go all out. They didn't do specific things that could have helped turn the tide of battle. When they were caught off guard, they were caught off guard and they were barely able to recover. And ultimately, that was their downfall. And Setsuna apologizes to her team, and they're just like, no, don't worry about it. We didn't expect Bakugo to have changed this much, and just kind of comfort each other for the most part. Meanwhile, Kaminari's just like, man, I would have never guessed that Bakugo could be so cooperative, and Jiro was really going in. It's just like, man, you guys were pretty awesome out there. Even All Might has to give kudos to Bakugo, especially because of the connection they've gained throughout the story. He's just like, I got, you watching you gave me chills, man. That was really impressive. But Bakugo, not one to take compliments, it's just like, nah, you're probably just cold or something. And even Deku can't help but come in and, try to praise Bakugo, which, of course, Bakugo is just completely on guard for it. But, going off of their competitive nature, he's just like, look, I'm moving on up. You better make sure you better try to catch up as best you can. Which, Deku, he's confrontational in his own way. It's just like, don't worry, I'll still surpass you. It's like, you are amazing, but I'll be even better. And he's more friendly at the friendly rivalry going on there. Which even, All Might knows. It's just like, you guys are pretty good friends, despite Bakugo's potty mouth. Meanwhile, Class 1B, Setsuna comes over to Monoma. It's just like, man, I'm sorry that I've made it utterly impossible for us to win, because either we end up losing, what is it? We either lose 3-0 with one tie, or we end up tying with them, 2-2 with one tie. So we can't really get one over. But Monoma's just like, look, I understand. In a very interesting moment that shows the depths of his character, because Monoma always seems to be defined by the fact that he just has this bitter rivalry with Class 1A, which is more one-sided than anything else. But it shows a little bit how much he cares for his own class specifically. And he's just like, don't worry about it. No one really expected him to have been able to rein in himself enough to actually work with a team. We're still learning, we're still growing. Yes, true victory is out of reach, but we're still gonna do as best we can in order to at least, tie things up. Everyone is a supporting character. I love this quote. Everyone's a supporting character in someone else's life and main character in their own. Which, I've always kind of is a thing that's always kind of been out there. I forget who originally said that, but it's true. We're all supporting characters we're all main characters in the story of our lives, and every misstep or failure is an opportunity to grow and become something better for the future. There's that old saying, it's just like, you learn more through losing than you do from victory. So, this is a chance for the members of Class 1B to actually grow from here on out. However, let's see, the poltergeist girl, Yanagi, comments about the fact that it's like, hey, do you have a plan? What should we do? How should we go about this? Shota, the dude with the quirk ability called Twin Impact, I think it might be a boxing move. It's just like, we're at a bit of a disadvantage. We should probably, adapt a kind of strategy where we kind of have to, we can't go in hand to hand. We're more technical combatants rather than close range combatants. And Yanagi even points out the fact that the worst person on the other team is probably Midoriya. He is the disability for them. He's too quick, he's too powerful, not to mention with the new gauntlets he's gotten, he's added long range, his air bullet attacks as well, so that's going to be a bit debilitating as well. Shinso says that maybe if we combine our tactics, talking to Monoma, if we combine our, go in and try to combine brainwashing or, combine our abilities, we might be able to get something done here. But, even Monoma's just like, he's broken out of it before, which Shinso had elaborated upon, but he was hoping that maybe with the combined effort of him and Monoma, they might be able to overtake Deku. But just the fact that he was able to break out of it without anyone understanding how it happened, that creates a bit of an issue here that nobody really knows how to deal with. Meanwhile, a lot of the teachers are discussing Shinso and his performance, just going on about the fact that, he is improving, he has come a good long way. But, whereas he won in the previous confrontation, they wonder, will it work here as well? Where we see, what he's capable here, or will he end up being dead weight? This is a kind of double way of just seeing where Shinso is at, if he has the potential, if he's even capable. This will be the solidifying moment where we learn if Shinso's really able to go all the way in terms of the hero course. Meanwhile, Class 1A kind of discusses things. Because, again, this is the highlight of the two classes. Class 1A being more impulsive and reactionary, and Class 1B being more strategy driven and thought processing and just, discussing things beforehand, what they should do. And, whereas we saw Class 1B doing just that, Class 1A, it's just like, what should we do? How should we go about it? Shinso's gonna be a problem. You have so many members, they could come out of nowhere, and they go over their various powers, and they're just like, we might not be able to do this. They think they're at a disadvantage. So it shows that both teams are kind of wary about how capable they actually are here. But, Izuku comes in and starts like, look, I'll be the decoy, draw their attention, they'll probably be after me anyway. He talks about the fact that, they know that his quirk was kind of been on the fritz a little bit, but he's just like, I seem to be okay so far, which just the fact that they brought that out shows that something's gonna happen here. Something major is about to go down, but it's just like, don't worry, we can definitely win, we got this. He gives everyone that pep talk. I can't afford to, not show my best self when Bakugo won his match. And so the 5th set finally begins with Class 1A facing off against Class 1B. So we'll just be able to see the final few quirks out there. We have size manipulation, Yanagi, whose thing is poltergeist, so we'll see what that's able to do, if she's able to possess people or just phase through solid objects, as well as the ability Twin Impact by Shota, who has a love of boxing, so I definitely believe that his ability has something to do with combat. And again, like I said, Kodai and her size manipulation ability, which is actually a pretty strong ability, especially if you've seen the movie Ant-Man or, stuff like that. Size manipulation always can come in handy, if you know how to use it well, at least. However, before that goes underway, All Might gets a call from Gran Torino, where they come, and then we cut over to the prison Tartarus. I think it's Tartarus. I might be confusing it with Marvel Prison, but we come to find out that All For One has been making slight movements and twitching around and fidgeting in his cell, where we get an understanding that the League of Villains is slowly beginning to move a little bit more. Not to mention the fact that he might have other sympathizers and other people who are following under him out there, which is definitely a setup for something to come. And we get the ending of the chapter where All For One states that he can hear the voice of his little brother, which makes sense because, One For All and All For One, the two abilities are so tied into each other, it makes sense that he would be able to hear his brother's voice as well, whereas Izuku is hearing it too. So that just shows the deep connection between the two abilities. And, who knows if All For One will be able to influence Izuku's quirk and maybe bring out some negative reactions as well, in ways we've never seen before. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's ever come up before, but who knows. But I think this was a good chapter. It was a nice setup, seeing where the mindsets of the various combatants going in are at. Not to mention there's a lot of setup for something to happen in terms of Izuku's quirk. So we'll see how this goes down, if something bad might happen over the course of this. A lot of people are predicting that Izuku's quirk might rage out of control and he might injure someone here. So who knows what might happen. But hey, thank you for watching. Tell me your thoughts on this chapter in the comment section below. What did you like? What did you dislike? Did you enjoy that it was a lot of just leading into the next section, or would you have preferred they got right into the action? Because it was a lot of setup and discussing and strategy, but that's a part of it. It's the academia part of My Hero Academia. Action, but also learning as well. But, there's that. But also tell me your thoughts on, if you liked my review by leaving me a like or a dislike. And if you leave me a dislike, tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I've said that's inaccurate, and I'll try to adjust myself for future videos. But I'd like to thank you for joining me here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.